welcome to Monroe MustHangs. I'm your host, David Spiegel. With us today, we're doing something different this time. We got not just one guest, but two. Please welcome formerly of the Monroe Mustangs baseball team, Freddy Rojas Jr. and Anthony Rodriguez.
Hello.
Hey guys, thanks for joining me today. And I took this opportunity to get both of you on the show, not only because you're both alumni of our baseball program, both were here in a very important season for the program as a whole, but you're also now playing at the same Division I school that you went to after your time at Monroe, at the University of Texas, Rio Grande Valley. So one thing I want to say is just, how did you guys kind of end up there together?
Well, basically, the way I got here was after the World Series, they contacted me, and I already had a friend that was from New York, and I was like, why not? I'll join him. And then the following year, while I was here, the coach asked me if I knew any good pitchers and stuff. So I recommended Anthony, and from there it went on.
Yeah, Freddie basically did a lot of following up on that. When I played summer ball in the Northwoods, and then that's when they kind of first saw me. And then they started asking Freddie oh, what he knows about me and stuff. And he said a lot of good things. And from there on, we just followed up. And he told me a lot of good things about the program, and I fell in for it. Thought it was my fit.
That's great. And, I've seen this a few different times with alumni of our different athletic programs. They kind of follow each other to the same place, and it always seems to work out really well. And it's always good to have that, that known camaraderie from where you were before. But you guys actually knew each other before your time at Monroe as well, playing for the Bronx Bombers. So can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Yes, we've known each other probably since we were 14 years old. We played with a team called the Bronx Bombers, and it was run by this guy called Eric Semler, my bad. And it was it was a lot of fun. We used to travel everywhere, play at high level tournaments, and compete with a lot of people. So we kind of knew we kind of knew each other really well, and yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Freddie, you have anything to add on that?
He said it all. I started playing with the Bombers when I was 9. So then Anthony joined the team when we was 14, and then from there on, we just been playing together since then.
That's great. And obviously, after your time there, you guys eventually found your ways back to Monroe, but the way that you got there was a little bit different. Now, Freddie, I'll start with you. You played high school ball at James Monroe High School, which actually produces a lot of Monroe baseball players. It's one of those schools that we actually have to say Monroe College specifically for, because a lot of people get us confused with them too. And the lettering looks kind of similar, just a different colors. So you started there, and after your high school career was over, you started your collegiate career down at Hillsborough Community College, another JUCO school down in Florida. Actually, a very good baseball program down there. So can you tell me a little bit more about your freshman season and what your experience was like down there? I know you got a chance to play at a high level and made it to the district championship down there as well.
Yeah. My freshman season, it started off towards the bad end because I wasn't performing at the level I had to perform. But then as my time went on there, I started adapting to it, and it ended up being a really good season. I played as a freshman, I played more than what they expected me to. And we made a run to almost make it to the JUCO World Series, but we ended up losing to Chipola in the deciding game, which was a tough loss, honestly, because the team, we were a family. Everybody was close, and it was hard to lose that game, especially the way we did. And then the team had a lot of sophomores, so that was my last time ever playing with those guys, and it was a heartbreaking loss.
Yeah, Chipola is one of those well-known powerhouses in junior college baseball, always in the JUCO World Series, and you see that name pop up during the MLB draft as well a lot. So definitely a tough program to play against. And I know that district down there has a ton of really talented teams. So even just making it to the district finals that year is impressive. Now, that was 2018. So after that season, you found yourself now transferring to Monroe. So how did you end up finding Monroe, and what made you decide that you wanted to come up here instead?
Well, funny story is, I've known the Monroe coaches of Coach Melendez and Coach Ayala since I was a little kid because they played with my father. So I've known them for a while, and like before I even went to Hillsborough, like I knew about Monroe, but I had already committed to Hillsborough as a junior in high school. So I just decided to go there, and then that summer after my freshman year, like I was just talking with my parents and everything, and I was like, maybe I'm just gonna come to Monroe for my sophomore year. It's close to home. You guys could come see me play. And then it was like, hey, it's up to you. Like if you want to do that. And then I spoke with Coach Ayala, and then basically like I heard everything he had to say, and I was like, this is the fit for me. Like it'll just be I'll have no pressure because I've known these guys since I was a little kid, and I'll just be having fun. And that's what I decided to do, come back home and play for them.
And of course, we were coming off our first ever trip to the JUCO World Series, first ever district championship. So, as you had experience going to district finals, we had a team here that also was just coming off getting to that next step. So, I'm sure it's exciting to come to a program that has, just found its way into that kind of success as well. Now, Anthony, you had a similar experience. You were at the Bronx School for Law, Government, and Justice, and you actually led the PSAL in strikeouts your senior year over there. And you went to North Carolina A&T, but you only made one appearance that year and then ended up redshirting your freshman year. But what did you take away from your freshman experience over there?
Yeah, that was a very interesting year for me because like that year I actually ended up getting injured and I didn't know how to cope with the process, especially being away from home, like, thousands of miles away from home. And I guess I kind of like lost myself mentally, but North Carolina A&T was definitely a good place. It was a lot of fun. Like I wish I could have, be able to perform and do what I know I could do, but that wasn't the case. But it did give me a lot of good lessons on how to prepare myself better for the future and stuff. And then taking a step back, like I had to like realize all of these things and stuff. But it was definitely also a good experience. Watching Division 1 level is definitely a lot of more different from baseball in New York. So I had a lot of fun doing that and watching people compete and picking up their brains and stuff.
Yeah, I saw the North Carolina A&T team that year actually made it to the NCAA regionals. So you got to see some higher level play, some postseason play there, and of course that's what you got to see your first year at Monroe as well. So the next year again you come back to New York and you transfer into Monroe College as well. So again, how did you find Monroe, or how did it find you?
Monroe, I thought it was my perfect fit. Like again, like I told you, I needed to take a step back, and then the coach there, Coach Manny, he really helped me out. He believed in me, and he helped me develop my skills and get me back to like where I wanted to be and stuff. And I thought it was very welcoming. Like they took me in as one of theirs and stuff, and we made very good relationships with them too. Like to this day, I still like talk to them and hit them up, and I'm like look at my mechanics and stuff, and they still help me out. But yeah, I really love them. I thought it was a really good program and prepared me mentally.
And you both showed up for the 2019 season, which obviously we came into with a lot of high expectations, having just come off the first JUCO World Series in program history. And of course, the team only returned a few sophomores the next season, so only a few of those guys were coming back with that experience. And we felt like we brought in a lot of talent. Obviously, you guys both transferred in, so that was helpful as well, along with a bunch of other really talented freshmen and a few more transfers as well. So I want to talk about the 2019 season because obviously that was a special season and the main one that you guys are both there at Monroe for. Yeah. So that season starts off, and again, like I said, the high expectations, just coming off of the JUCO World Series, the team got a lot of invitations to come travel to start the season, going down to Texas and Louisiana and South Carolina, going all over the place. And the team did not necessarily get off to the start that we were hoping for. Come back home after all these opening season road trips with a 4-14 record. So, you guys, you just got there, you're getting your first experience as a team. What was it like getting off to a slow start like that? And how did you guys feel coming home after, with a record like that?
Honestly, that record, It was just guys trying to do too much. We were all trying to prove something because coming into the season, we were ranked. They had preseason ranked us, and so guys, we were trying to do too much, trying to play to a level that we didn't need to play. We just needed to be ourselves. And once we realized that, we got the ball rolling. I wish we could have done it sooner because it would have helped a lot of us with other things. But we got the ball rolling, and we became a team.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with him, man. Like, I still remember to this day how tough, like, those first few weeks were, and all the like meetings, and like, like people had to step up, hold people accountable for like what they do and stuff. And it took a lot of like mental effort, a lot of team bonding, like us coming in together and knowing everyone's role. And then ever since that, like ever since we got it to click, like it just turned around and we just started rolling, and it just became a snowball effect. Like we just started building on it.
Yeah, I would say so. I know definitely coming home helped you guys out a lot. And I know just talking to the coaches that season that when you guys were ready for that first home game, they knew that obviously the record wasn't one to be. Obviously, it was disappointing, but that early season experience playing against teams from Texas and Louisiana, teams that had been on the field for months before that and had already played a ton of games before you guys even got down there, we knew it was going to be tough. We knew it was going to be hard to win. So you guys came home, and I think you kind of took out a lot of that frustration on those first few teams. We're scoring a lot of runs, we're pitching really well all across the board, and you go on a big run. I believe going into that series with ASA College late in the regular season, I think you guys had an 18-20 record overall, which would mean that after you guys came home, you won 14 games, only lost 6 at that point. There were still plenty of tough teams on that schedule as well. So, you guys go up against the team's biggest rival in ASA College, and you sweep the regular season series against them. How are you guys feeling at that point? Obviously the goal again to get back to the JUCO World Series, and step one is to get past ASA. So beating them for the first time around that year, what did it feel like for you guys?
It was just we knew that all right, we already beat them in the regular season, but once we go to the postseason, anything can happen. So we just had to stay with the same mentality and just we know what we can do. Just go and play our game, and we know that they won't be able to beat us if we play our game and just stay level headed. Nobody try to do more. Like don't make it a you thing, it's a we thing, and that's what we were able to do.
Yeah, that is true. And again, like I said, it just became a big snowball effect. Just not changing anything, playing our game, staying in within ourselves. But then, the wins from games before and stuff, like it all just added up and added up. And we were just like really confident going in and competing.
Anthony, since you're a pitcher, what's it like for you that you don't get necessarily the chance to play every single day, but you're watching the team kind of go on that early, the early slump, and then going on that big win streak. So what's it like from your perspective to kind of be streaky like that, and getting your chances when you get your chances?
It all comes again to the mental side, just staying ready, whatever happens. Like sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, sometimes it rains. I don't know if you ever seen that quote, but it just comes down to staying ready. You never know what might happen. Got to stay mentally tough. Our coaches did a really good job doing that. They always after games, they spoke to us, they told us what to do, hold each other accountable and stuff, and things like that. So everyone who was in the pen, not only me, we were all ready to go. We'll prepare each other for those moments and stuff. And although, yes, I don't get to play every single day because I'm a pitcher, got to rest and stuff. And then we have other guys, but I still had a lot of fun seeing my teammates compete and stuff. And I always remember myself with the hammer. I don't know if you remember that hammer that we had. And yeah, it was just a lot of fun. We would just grab the hammer, cheer them on and stuff. And it was a winning mentality. I mean, we just kept winning and stuff, and it was a lot of fun.
I absolutely remember the hammer. That was a lot of fun all season long. From the first time I saw it to all the way to the end of the year, that was definitely a big part of the team's identity. So this time around, you guys, obviously again, we're playing ASA at the end of the regular season to win, to compete for the Region 15 championship. And the year before, we had already known we were going to the district championship because we were our region was going to be hosting it, which meant that the only two teams that are in the region were both going to be going. Just one team would be the higher seed. So this time around, the team actually had to get the job done no matter what. win that series to make sure that you're going back so we can go to Maryland to play for the district championship. So what was the mindset going in, knowing that if you guys wanted to accomplish your goal, you had to get this series taken care of?
It was we gotta win. We have to win. There's no losing. We can't stoop down to their level and play their game because we know how that can be. If you play down to the competition, things get a little crazy. And thankfully, we didn't do that. We did what we had to do, and we took care of business. We moved on.
Yeah, you know, you guys got the job done, like I said, and got to go down to Hartford Community College. They were hosting the district championship this time around, and Hartford was a team that, you know, they're known for their bats. They're known for taking advantage of, you know, they're perfectly fit for a smaller field. They play on their home field, so they put up a lot of runs, and it gets intimidating. You guys went down there earlier that season and you know, lost 2 out of 3 games to them. So, you know, that's one of the things I'm sure you guys have to think of going in, knowing that you were opening up against them as well. But despite all the pouring rain that whole weekend, you know, having a hard time when you guys get there, just even getting on the practice field and hoping that all these games get done, you guys opened up and just, I can't say it any better than just went a little bit nutty in that first game. You guys hit 5 home runs. You beat Hartford 14-2, just really just completely dominate that first game. I know myself being there as well, sitting in the press box, I kind of had to keep myself calm with all the Hartford staff around me because it was just like an incredible thrill just watching you guys really just take care of business. Like I said, 5 home runs. You know, Freddie, you hit one of those. I remember, dead center field, I think. How are you guys feeling after that first win and getting that one under your belts?
I mean, we felt very good, man. I'm telling you, like, it's all like, you know, once you in there and you see everything that's going on, and it just builds up and builds up. And like honestly, yes, we stay in within ourselves, but it was a confidence boost, and we're like, oh, like, you know, like, we could do this. Like, we're in this. We have the talent, we have the mentality, we have the skills, talent, everything. And from there on, we just took care of business, like Freddie said. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, like going into that game was kind of personal for us because of the history that Monroe has with Hartford. So going like after they scored I believe they scored in the first inning right away, and like we just came in the dugout and was like, all right, like we're not gonna lose to this team again. So we put our big boy hats on and we did what we had to do and we took care of business. And then after that game, it was honestly there was no pressure because we felt like we beat the team that we needed to beat.
Yeah, I know you guys were. I just know you guys were feeling so good. I remember in the hotel that night, just everyone in a great mood, feeling confident, and you know, again, just baseball is such a mental game that you know, that confidence goes a long way. And you know, you guys, again, I can run right through this. You guys really made it look easy that whole weekend, playing against some really good teams too. Just really made it look easy. A 6-1 win over Potomac State in the next game, and you know, it was, I believe, a double elimination tournament. So when you guys go up against Spartanburg Methodists for the championship, you guys had that freedom that you could, you know, afford to lose one game and you have to come back and play again. Of course, again, we were fighting the weather, so who knows what would have happened. But you guys, again, just rolled to another win, an 8-3 victory over Spartanburg. And even in a good amount of rain, you guys got to celebrate. So what did it feel like knowing that you guys were going to get to go to Grand Junction a week after that was done?
Honestly, it was I couldn't really believe it because knowing that a year ago I was 1 win away from going, and then to finally going to a different school and then actually going to the World Series, it was honestly like a dream of mine. Like obviously, every kid dreams of going to Omaha, but some kids take different routes, and that was my Omaha, going to the Jugo World Series in Colorado.
Yeah, I agree as well. That's something that we all wanted to do, man. Like, you know, even after we won that game, you saw the emotions on everyone's face, even the coaches, everything that it took to get there, and it all just feels so good when you work the way we started the year and then how we ended it, and then you just got Grand Junction now. Like, it's like, oh, like I still remember running out. I have the video here actually, if I could show it. Can I show it?
Sorry, go for it. I'm muted, but yeah, go for it.
Look.
Let's see it.
Here you go.
It's always good to watch that one
Every time
back.
I see that video, I get the chills. I'm like, there's no way, you know.
I'll be honest, I did last night as I was working on getting ready for this. I watched the videos that I took as well, the same celebration, and then dropping all the Gatorade or water, whatever it was on Lou again in the pouring rain, just to really getting good like that. To see the smile on his face was great. I remember that experience. That was just a fantastic day, and I know for me personally, I will say the year before I actually had to miss the trip to the JUCO World Series. So the entire season, when you guys got off to a slow start and, me really wanted to get to experience that with you guys. When we made that run at the end and we made, win the district championship, and I'm sitting there knowing like, I'm going to get to go with you guys. For me, it was also just a really good feeling, obviously you guys did all the work. So thank you for that. You and all your teammates and the coaches, but I know I was probably just as excited as you guys that we were all going to get to go down there or go out west, I guess, and get to Grand Junction. So now, that's the next step here is that you guys win the district championship. We're going back to the JUCO World Series. We're going to play, all the best teams in the NJCAA, and we really get to go out there and experience this, an experience like no other. Among all the NJCAA championships there are, people really say the JUCO World Series is like no other. So, you really get the best possible experience that you can at this level. And before I get into all the games, I want to talk about just the general experience with you guys. We have to, starting from I guess, you could say it's a challenging travel day. We have to, everyone's going on kind of different flights, going in different connections, and then finding their way to Denver, coming in at different times. Some people were waiting at the airport for hours and on both sides. And then we have that 4-hour bus ride. Actually, I think it was a 6-hour bus ride from Denver down to Grand Junction. We're seeing literally every single season of weather on the way to Grand Junction. I think it was warm when we landed in Denver, going through the Rocky Mountains. I know we went through some snow. Going through up and down different elevations. So there's a lot to experience there. We had our host organization that had us for a few different events. We got to do some charity events as well, just different community service things, meeting a lot of the local fans and getting to see, how big of a deal it is in Grand Junction to do this. So Anthony, let's start with you. What was your overall experience like, and what were some things that stood out to you during the JUCO World Series?
What stood out to me was really the fans, like the way, not only the fans, the people at the hotels, the townspeople, like everyone knew basically who we were, like, oh, like you're here playing for the JUCO World Series, and, they found that amazing. And I've never actually been part of something like that. So it was, it was fun, and like, see all those kids like right after you, like, asking for autographs and stuff, like just made me, like feel like I had accomplished something, Monroe as a whole. And it was a lot of fun. I still remember when we first like pulled into the hotel, the name of the school was like up on a sign, and I was like man, like this is amazing. And then we walk into the hotel, everyone welcomes us. We get all these stuff, the food, again, like the charity works that we had to do. That was a lot of fun. I have a lot of videos from that day, and I remember how we went up on stage and we took over the whole thing, and we just started singing and stuff, and everyone's just going along with it. And then back into the games, that was also a lot of fun too. The fans, the amount of fans that were there, the competition, the atmosphere, like, you just felt like this is it, like we're here. That was a lot of fun.
Freddie, how about you? And I know you got to do a couple different things as well, because Anthony, while you were doing one of those community service events, I know Freddie was doing a different one over at the stadium actually that day, and then Coach Melendez asked me to come along for that one. So tell me about some of your experiences as well, Freddie.
Yeah, well, it was honestly a lot. Like getting there, it was something that I've never honestly experienced in my life before. And then going to the day with the event with the kids, that event just showed me that like little kids, honestly, they looked up to us. Like they didn't know who we were, but they looked at us as like figures, like that they would like to be one day. And then like it was just a lot. Like I've never signed so many autographs before in my life. I've never taken so many pictures with people in my life. And it was something that it took me back, and I was like, this game is bigger than what it actually is, and bigger than what I thought. And like it changed my mindset towards the way I think of baseball. And I'm glad I was able to do it. And I would definitely do it again if I had the chance to.
Yeah, I would say just even from my perspective, it was really just an experience like no other. I had heard so much about it the year before, so again, the opportunity to go with you guys was really everything that I was told it was going to be. So I really enjoyed every single part of that as well. It's cool to be, along with all you guys doing basically everything other than the physical activity. So I had a great experience with you guys as well. But let's get into the games now because there's a lot to talk about there as well. You guys know that your first game is going to be the primetime game on that first night, and we're already looking at a start time of about what would have been, I think, 9:30 on the East Coast, and I believe we ended up starting around 10 o'clock on the at local time there. All those games going long, we weren't even sure if we were necessarily going to play that day, but we're playing the late game, and I know we're all tired, and we've been sitting there and trying to figure out how to warm up properly. Open against Central Arizona, and unfortunately, this is a 12-4 loss. I could say that Central Arizona ended up being the team that made that run and winning the championship, but obviously a disappointing first game. So, what's the mindset for you guys coming out of that first one? And just again, I know being exhausted from all the activities beforehand, and then just having this super long day at the stadium and having to go through that first game. What was that like for you guys?
Um, After we lost, like we knew that obviously it's double elimination. So yeah, we lost, but we had to flush it right away. It's like next team we play, we can't lose. We got to come out with a different mentality. We got the first game, like the jitters out. All right, it happened. Now let's play baseball. And once we got to the next game, we knew some of the kids from the New Mexico team because they were also from New York. So it was like we gotta perform. We can't come out flat like the way we did. And then because in the Drew Grove series, everyone's good. So if you come out flat, they're gonna jump on you right away, and then it's hard to come back from a big deficit like that. So we had to be the attackers, and we couldn't let the other team get to beat us.
Yeah, I agree with him, man. I believe, I don't know, like when we faced Central Arizona, like after that game, I remember myself. I'm like, oh my god, like this is like a different level of competition. And like he said, we got to move past that and just attack the next day. And I think we were, like even though we were down one, we were very confident because like our starting pitcher was really good. That game was started by Julie, right? And then the next game it was started by Backman. And like we knew he was, gonna do his thing and stuff. So we were confident like with our starting pitcher and stuff, and we just knew that we had to put in the bat and the work and the defense and then just go in and attack. Cause coming off from that season, everything that we did, it was all just build up and stuff. And we knew what we could do. So just had to go in for it.
Yeah, I can just me being there with you guys. I remember just getting on the bus after the game. I know everyone was kind of down, but I think the biggest thing for you guys was that everyone was just kind of tired. But I remember hearing of you guys just saying, and especially the coaches just saying, we're gonna just bounce right back. The year before, the same thing happened. A tough loss in the opening game, and then the team bounced back the next day. So everyone knew you guys had it in you, and turns out you did. Playing New Mexico Junior College, they got off to the early start. They took the first lead, and then everything else just kept rolling for us. I know Freddie, you had, I believe it was a 2-run homer in the fifth inning, and that proved to end up being the game winner. We ended up winning the game 8-2. And Anthony, of course, you say Brandon Backing was really good. Unfortunately, that meant that you didn't get to play in this game because he went the whole game in this one, I believe.
Yeah, he won.
So, yeah, that was, and it was just a really incredible performance all around from everybody. So now that you guys, you get this big win, you guys look great in that game. What does it feel like, just now you have new life in this tournament?
Like you said, we had new life, and we had to stay level headed. Yeah, we won, but now we have somebody else that we have to play, and on that and going into that game, we had the same confidence because whoever we put on the mound, we were confident in them. We knew that if we put up a good amount of runs, we will be in good situation to win the game, and we felt good going into that game.
Yeah, man. Beating New Mexico just also showed us that, we could be there. We could compete, like we're not going to go 2-and-out, like we were there to compete. Like no matter who stepped in, we were going to compete, do our best and bring everything that we had to the table. So that also gave us more confidence and we were able to move on with the same, like feeding off of it, and just going hard.
Monroe MustHangs is sponsored by the Monroe Mustangs Sideline Store, powered by our apparel partners at BSN Sports. Whether you're looking for t-shirts, hats, jackets, or accessories, the Monroe Mustangs Sideline Store has it all. Gear up with the new Monroe Mustangs logo and make it your own with hundreds of customizable options, including sports-specific designs. For the month of February, you can take 20% off all orders of $80 or more when you use the promo code FEB21. That's FEB21. Visit MonroeCollegeMustangs.com/shop to look your best as you cheer on the Mustangs. So you guys get past that second game, again, like we said, new life, and you really, hopefully hoping to get on a roll here. You're going to play against Cali College. This is another elimination game, both teams facing elimination. And obviously, these are all really good teams. And Cali, I believe, was one of those top 10 ranked teams that was out there. But unfortunately, this one, again, ends in a 16-6 loss. And that means the team is eliminated at this point. So, again, the game was closer than the score says. I know early on we got a big jump on them. I remember Jose's line drive home run that just got right inside the foul pole, right over the wall. Was a big jolt for you guys early on, but obviously, again, playing the best teams in the country here, and they were just able to rally past us. What's the feeling coming out of that last game there?
It was a game that honestly, we felt that we should have won. Like, yes, the score may seem like are you like it's not like we shouldn't have won, but if you watch the game, we were up. We were winning 6-2, I believe, and it was just like the 7th inning. So I feel like once we saw the score, we kind of like laid back a little bit, and they took advantage of that. They never gave up, and they came out swinging. They were able to execute when they had people on base, and they did what they had to do, and they beat us.
Yeah, that was kind of a tough game. I think we blew a 5-run lead. I think it was like late and it was like the 7th, I think it was, or something like that. But yeah, man, after the game, it was just a road of emotions, man. We couldn't believe it. Like we came so far. We thought about everything we had done through the season and how it all just came down to that one game, and now everything is over. So it was kind of hard for for us to bear with it. And then just the bond that we had with each other, now we're like, oh, like this is gone. Like the 2-year guys are gonna go somewhere else. We're gonna have to build up a new team, and it was all kind of sad. It was very sad, actually.
Yeah, of course. And again, along with you guys on the trip, I basically felt the same thing as you guys as well. They gave me a spot up in the press box, and I made sure, when the game was winding down, to kind of get down to the dugout just to kind of be around the team a little bit before taking care of my own business there. Unfortunately, it's just part of the game. Only one team really gets to win out there. So, and again, it was Central Arizona. They really rolled through that whole tournament. I know they were one of the only, I think like us, were the only teams that weren't nationally ranked going into that tournament. And they made that run. So it really just goes to show, you get there and anything is possible. And, unfortunately it wasn't our year. And I know the team is looking forward to getting those chances in the future. And of course the sights were set on that same goal in 2020, but we have to get into what 2020 was. But first, like we talked about earlier, Freddie, right? Really shortly after the season ended, I'm not even sure if it was. I'm not sure we were back in New York yet before you were posting about this. But you made your commitment. You were ready to. You knew where you were going after Monroe. So, you said they saw you there and they reached out and you were ready to go. And Anthony, you were set to come back to Monroe, and you did come back to Monroe, and you did play with us in 2020. But as the story goes, we get to the middle of March. You guys have both started your respective seasons in different places, and they basically both ended on the same day. I know, Freddie, you guys played your last game on March 11th. Anthony, you guys played your last game on March 10th, and then I remember that morning, March 11th, being canceled, and then everyone of our spring sport athletes being brought into the gym, being told that this was it. This was everything had to stop. March 11th is actually my birthday, so I remember that day very, very well. Not a great day. And right before that too, we had our basketball teams up in Monroe. They were set to go to the NJCAA championship tournaments, and both of them had to pull out beforehand just because of the traveling, and New Rochelle being one of the first places that nationally was known was having a problem, even though we were fine. But you just had those issues. So I think we all knew what was coming at that point anyway, but obviously that's a tough day. So Anthony, since you were with us, I want to start with you on this one. Just what was it like knowing, like, I think we played that first home game and we kind of still saw what was coming, but when we're finally told that next day that, this unfortunately was it for us, everyone's done, we're going home. What was it like for you guys and, for the rest of the team, just knowing that, you only got to play 14 games and this was it for the year?
Listen, man, to this day, I still do not comprehend what went on. Like, I still remember, everyone knew it was coming, like COVID is getting bad and stuff. And then I remember coming into the gym and Lou is like, oh, all fall season, all of our seasons are canceled. Like, we're gonna go home. But then I'm in my head, because he was talking about taking 2 weeks off or something like that. But little did we know, it was much worse than that. Like, we thought we was gonna take 2 weeks off and then come back, but it wasn't like that. Like, he said for good, and once he said for good, I look around and everyone's in shock, and people just started tearing, And then I started tearing myself. I'm I can't believe, I didn't know what was going on. This is something I've never seen before. The world hasn't seen in a long time. I remember the last pandemic, but it was all weird, and I couldn't understand anything. And then I just started thinking about, everything that we did to build up to that, the 9 p.m. practices up to 2 a.m., which also play a lot of role in our mental state. And it was just hard, man, hard. I didn't understand what happened.
No, I'm with you there. The first thing I did when I walked in that morning, just, again, like I said, we already, the basketball teams had already lost their opportunity to go to the national tournament. And, we had just had a great game the day before. I think it was against SUNY Sullivan, and we had that walk-off win, Jose's, I think, walk-off double or triple, whatever it was. And I know the team was feeling good, but I remember I didn't even go to my own office. I basically sat either in or outside of, Coach Melendez's office the entire day, just waiting to see what we decided. I know early on that day we canceled that game, and then a few games after that. And then it just came down to him saying, I have to call everyone together. We're going to the MAC, and we're going to bring everyone together and do this. And, you said a lot of you guys were, there were a lot of tears, and it wasn't just it wasn't just the athletes, it was the coaches and administrators, all of us really just, that was a tough one. It's still hard to even think about just that moment, because, it's tough to watch everyone have their hearts broken like that. But, this is just, it's part of what happened. So, it's worth talking about. And Freddie, you're doing the same thing down there. I'm sure, I don't know actually at all what happened with you guys. I don't know what went on that day. I know you guys got to play 18 games that year. You guys were actually off to a pretty good start. And unfortunately, again, the same thing, you guys play that last game on March 11th, and the rest of the schedule says canceled after that. So what was it like for you guys over Rio Grande Valley, just when that day came, and then going forward after that, what was it like?
At first, after we played that game against Corpus, we won, and then we didn't have another game, I think, for I think it was 2 days later or something. So then it was kind of weird. One day we just got a text hey, game's canceled. We're not gonna play this game, but hey, guys, stay ready, because next week we'll be, I think we were traveling somewhere. So we was oh, okay, they canceled it. We knew that there was something going on in the world, but we didn't know to the extent. So then they got another message hey, we're not gonna be playing for a little bit, so we're taking a break. So us guys well, what do we do? Like, we don't know. So we just kept going to the facilities, practicing and stuff. Like I even one point, like, it was me and another first baseman. We were in the locker room like changing, and a reporter came in and she just started taking pictures, and we was like what's going on? And she's like, yeah, you guys don't know, like, everything is done. Like, we're doing a paper on like the athletes and see how they're feeling and stuff. And we're like, what do you mean it's done? Like, our coach just told us we're gonna come back like in a week or so. And then that next day, we get the message, "Hey guys, come clean out your lockers. Like, we're not gonna be playing. We're not gonna be playing for a while." And then once we that day when we went to the locker room, they was like, "No, we're done for the whole season." So then I was like, "Dang, like, I don't know, what are we gonna do?" Like, this we were off to a good start, and they just canceled it. Like, we didn't know if we were gonna get our eligibility back. Thank God we did. So like a lot of the seniors, they thought they were done because that was their year, hoping for like to possibly get drafted or get picked up in free agency. So it was just a lot. Like, everyone was just confused. There was not many words said. It was just confusion all around.
I'm sure it must have been a different experience for you guys too. Just being in Texas, I know it was a whole lot different than what New York has. New York went into a very quick shutdown, and everything was really kind of happened all at once. Whereas we know kind of across the country, every state was doing it differently. So, also for you, what was it like again being in Texas when your family's up back in New York and going through something completely different? What was that experience like? And were you eventually able to come back home, or were you stuck down there for a long time?
Honestly, from they told us that the season was canceled on a Wednesday, and then like spoke to my parents, and on Friday I was back in New York. It's because like I wasn't gonna stay in Texas now knowing that we weren't gonna play, and at the time my mom was pregnant, so I just came home, and once I got home, I didn't leave my house until like 2 or 3 months because being that my mom was pregnant, I couldn't, and New York was such like a hot spot. It was just I got home and I didn't go outside. I would go on my balcony sometimes. That was about it.
Yeah, I think we all know what that feeling was like for those first few months when this really hit hard. So I mean, that's great you were able to get back home. I know a lot of other people were not, not as lucky to be able to just to get back because everything was shutting down, travel was shutting down. And talking with other Monroe student athletes, we had a lot of athletes that don't live full time in the United States too. So for them to get stuck here as well is a really big challenge. But you know, again, I think everyone kind of went through the same thing here. Just an unfortunate end to the season. At Monroe, we don't get to ultimately, achieve our goal of going back to the JUCO World Series because it just doesn't happen. Like nobody was able to go to the JUCO World Series that year. So we head into summer, and for you guys, usually the summer is a big time for baseball players, and you get to play summer ball. I know, Anthony. I remember seeing a lot of your clips from the previous summer, and I know Coach Manny coming in all the time and talking about your baby chap nickname. And I remember just seeing a lot of this, and he's like, "This kid's gonna have a heck of a season." And of course, we barely even got to have a season. So, and Freddie, like you said, you guys did get your eligibility back, but that doesn't mean that everyone's necessarily going to be staying at Monroe. You still only get that limited eligibility. And, when you get a chance to use all of it at the next level, it's very understandable that you take advantage of it. So Anthony, at this point, you eventually make the decision that you're also going down to Texas, going to Rio Grande Valley, joining Freddie down there. So what went into that decision for you?
I think I was already like I think I was in a good mental state, like to move on and stuff. And then my coaches agreed with me as well. Like, yes, I could have stayed at Monroe for another year, but I felt like like moving on was best for me and stuff. And then like here, like I've only been here for one semester, but I've learned a lot, and I think it turned out very well.
That's great. And obviously, you guys are looking forward to a season right now. I'm catching you on your off day. We're recording this on Monday, of course, but you guys are basically 2 weeks away from starting your season. And what I want to know is because up here in New York so far, it's still been a challenge to really, get anybody working out, getting on the field, getting the team together. But you guys have been practicing, you've been going to classes, and like I said, you're getting ready for a season that's coming up in basically a few days, 2 weeks. So What's the experience been like so far getting ready for a season? Well, the pandemic's still going on, having to deal with COVID protocols. Even right now, you guys live in the same apartment and you have to do this from different rooms to follow those protocols. So what's that been like so far getting ready for a season like this?
Um, I guess you can say it's been hard because like it's everything that we're doing is new to us. We get now this semester we get tested every other week, and it's like there's so much like with contact tracing and everything. Like it's hard to like even because you can catch it anywhere. So it's like a lot. Like what we do is we order our groceries online and just go pick it up and come back home because you just never know. And me and Anthony, we had to deal with the quarantining because one of our roommates ended up getting sick, and we had to miss practice for 2 weeks, and that took a toll on us because like we can't do anything. Like we're here in the house for 2 weeks. We have no car because we don't have a car down here, so it was hard, and it's something new that we're adapting to.
Yeah, man. Definitely a lot more different than what we're used to. Like we can't go out as much. Like not like go, like go out to have fun, but like just even go out to the supermarket. Like we gotta, be careful. Like he said, we order our food online and stuff, and then we have to go through a bunch of protocols, man. Like every time we wake up, we gotta take our temperature and then log it into this app called Sway, and like it's a must. Like we can't forget, otherwise, like a lot of things go wrong. But it helps with the contact tracing and stuff, and making sure that everyone is healthy and staying with their group and stuff. And also practices like not the whole team gets to practice at once. We've like basically broken up the team, so this group comes in at this time, then this other group, and it is obviously not the same, training with groups instead of the whole team. But yeah, man, basically we just got to adapt to it and just go on from there.
Of course it has to be different. Unfortunately, it just has to be this way. Hopefully not for too much longer, but you guys have a season in sight and it's really just, right on the horizon for you guys. So knowing the way that last year just came to a screeching halt, what's it like for you guys mentally, just saying like baseball's back. We're just about there. What's that feeling like for you guys?
Just honestly take advantage of the opportunity that we're gonna get to play and do like play to that level that we've never played before because we don't ever know if something else could come up and it's taken from us again. So it just taught us to appreciate the game a lot more. And being that the way our team is set up right now, like we have hopes of going to a regional, a super regional even. And we we have high expectations for our team, especially like we had a good team last year and then the team just got better even this year. So it's just we got a lot of pieces and we just got to put them together and we could go far.
Yeah, man, definitely a lot more gratitude and excitement coming into this season. Because of what had happened, how everything was taken away and stuff. And now, we're like more into the moment and getting prepared and stuff. And like Freddie mentioned, we do have a very good team, man. I'm like it's a old team, so we're full of mature people. People who know what they're doing. We have each other's backs. Like a lot of people here in our team came from other JUCOs, so like it's a very good team, man. And I'm excited to see what we can put up.
One thing I think when you mentioned, like you said, that a lot of players came from other JUCOs, and I feel like one experience that I've heard about a lot is that playing JUCO ball, just when the sophomores are the old guys on the team, it kind of forces you to mature a little quicker. So you guys are obviously going into that experience, and you've already had this kind of these leadership roles on your teams before even and you're coming in as juniors before you're not the elder members of the team. So that definitely helps with the overall maturity. I think if you get a lot of guys coming from different JUCO schools, and you guys mentioned how good the team is looking right now, how you guys feel about it. And I was taking a look at your schedule, and I'm seeing all these different ranked teams on your schedule, all these big time schools that everyone's always heard of, and some schools that not you haven't necessarily heard of, but in baseball you get a lot of those schools that end up being like top ranked teams anyway. And you guys definitely have a challenging schedule ahead of you. So what are you looking forward to with that challenge that awaits you guys?
Just waking up people and showing them that UTRGV is a good school coming out of the WAC. Like not many people know about this school, so well, us having that tough schedule, if we go out and we do what we have to do and we beat these top teams, people are gonna start asking questions like, all right, who are these kids from South Texas? Like, what are they doing down there? And that'll just help the program. Like, it's just a lot that goes into it. And our coach, he gives us that schedule because he knows that we'll be able to handle it. Obviously, we're not gonna win every game, but as long as we go out there and compete and we show that we belong, we'll be fine.
Yeah, man. So just like Freddie basically said it all, just getting our name out there and just facing. We're gonna get to face our Longhorns, I believe, right? Texas.
Hmm.
Yeah, and that's a game I'm very excited for. Because they're really a good team and stuff, and like us being able to showcase our skills and talent like against them, and anything could go down. So I'm looking forward to that and just playing hard.
So, you guys, I said we talked to you guys, and I'm experiencing a ridiculous blizzard up here, and you guys are talking about playing in South Texas. You guys have been probably enjoying this weather a lot more than we have up here for the last couple of weeks. But um, you both had that first experience where you left New York, you went to a different school, and then you eventually you made your way back. You played at Monroe, so you did have that first experience away from home before coming back, and then now you guys are back away from home again. And I want to know is, do you feel more prepared this time around? From the first time being, going from a high school senior to a collegiate athlete in a different state down south, coming back home, doing it again. Is it a different experience this time around? And do you feel more prepared to be away from home and be on your own and be in a different place?
Uh,
Um,
you can
you
go.
could go, Anthony.
All right. For me, I would say that's a definite yes. I learned from my lessons, and now that I'm here, back away from home, thousands of miles away, like I am a lot more prepared. For what's to come. I know how to handle myself. I'm more mature. And I know how to take care of things. So, I think that's what I was missing when I first left. Just being this young, kid and not basically taking care of the little details, which everyone calls for, but we don't really understand all of that. But now, like I've been through a lot more things, and I know that I'm in a good place, and everything's gonna fall in where it has to.
Yeah, just basically like how Anthony said. Like, I went away right after high school, and like everything was good and everything, but now it's just different. Like, I'm more mature. I know how to do things better. Like, as a freshman, like, you get that freedom to finally away from home, you away from your parents. You tend to like shy away from your responsibilities a little bit. But as I got older, I realized that like doesn't matter if I'm home or I'm away. I can do all those things as long as I handle what I have to do and take care of what comes first, which is school and baseball. And then once I handle that, then I can have fun, as they say.
No, it's great to hear that you guys are comfortable and having a great time down there, and really getting a good experience even during a COVID season like this. Still getting to enjoy yourselves and get ready for a new season. But of course, I'm coming to you from a Monroe College perspective, so I got to talk a little bit more about Monroe. And from the time that you guys had there, limited or not, what were some of the best experiences you had there, both on the field and off the field? And Anthony, let's start with you on this one.
Okay, on the field, basically we already spoke about it. My best experience was the JUCO World Series, man. That was just different and something that I'm never gonna forget. Again, the brotherhood. Like we built a family, and I'm always gonna remember that group of guys that I went into. And that it was basically war. And yeah, that was basically my like what I like the most on the field. Off the field, again, comes down to my teammates. Everyone's from different places. We have a bunch of guys from Puerto Rico, Panama, all these places, and then you just get to know them a lot more, and you get to see different cultures and perspective, and then you build a bond with them as well. So hanging out a lot with my teammates was definitely something that it was a really good experience off the field. So that was it for me.
It's basically the same for me. On and off the field, it was on the field is just getting to play with kids that I played against in high school, and then we ended up playing together at Monroe. And that sophomore season, like I know, like I I'm probably never gonna play with these kids ever again. So that was special for me to just come back home and play in where I'm from, New York City. And off the field, it was getting to spend time with those guys and like growing a friendship. Like it went from I used to play against these kids a lot. Now they're my teammates. Like I consider them my brothers, and I still keep in contact with a lot of my teammates from the Monroe team.
And one thing I like to bring up with some of our alumni is, if there was, let's say an up and coming student athlete watching this video, listening to this interview right now, and they want to know a little bit about Monroe, what are some things that you would say that, and maybe kind of push them towards wanting to come to Monroe, or what are some of the things you might want to say about the coaches that you had here?
I would say, I'll go. Go? Or you go?
Anthony, go ahead. Anthony, go ahead.
I would say it's a very good program, man. Just basically take advantage of everything that's given to you. Like, they're gonna put you in a spot to succeed, not fail. And coaches are always gonna have your back. They're gonna tell you how it is straight up. And just listening to them and being coachable, which is the number one thing, you're gonna get to a very good place. And you're gonna be treated as one of theirs. It's gonna be a family. So they're gonna help you out with whatever you need.
What I would tell them is, like, honestly, baseball will be the last thing I would mention to them, because that's not what Monroe is. Like, Monroe is a family. Like, if I would tell them, like, if you want to go somewhere where they're gonna be honest with you and they're gonna tell you the reality of things and they're gonna take care of you, Monroe's the place to go. The coaches, like, they're gonna tell you straight up how it is, and if you're mature enough, you'll like it. If not, you won't. And academically, Sandy does a great job helping us. And it's like, if it wasn't for her, a lot of us probably wouldn't be where we at right now, because she does a lot to make sure that we're eligible. And I would just tell them, like, they're going to take care of you. Monroe's the place to go. Baseball's going to take care of itself. If you do good, you're going to have a great time there. If you don't play good, then obviously you're not going to have a good time. But Monroe is a family. It's a brotherhood. And the coaches, they don't look at you like if they're better than you. They don't look at you as like, oh, as like you're their paycheck. Like, if you don't do good, I'll lose my job. No, they take time out of their own lives to make sure that we do what we have to do. For example, how Coach Manny lives far away from Monroe, and every day he makes sure that he comes and goes home, doesn't matter the time, and he takes care of his guys.
I could tell you guys as well, just Coach Melendez is also my boss, and same experience for me is that he's gonna be very open and honest with you about everything he's feeling. And for me at least, I know it's made me better at my job. So I'm sure it's very helpful in the field as well. And I know he really cares about all of his players. He tells me all the time, and he will give you a hard time if it's warranted. But he'll also he'll show you guys he cares in any way he can, and it goes for the rest of the coaching staff as well. I know how important all the student athletes are to them. Again, Manny and Elliot Ayala, and Francis, who hasn't gotten a shout out on this interview yet, but Francis, he was on the show. Everyone loves Francis, so we don't have to talk too much about him. Everyone already knows. Guys, unfortunately, that's all the time we have today, but I want to thank both of you for taking time out of your day. Again, I know you guys, you're going to classes, you're practicing, so thankfully I caught you on an off day, but I hope you guys, I wish you the best of luck this year. I hope you get everything out of this season that you want it to be. I hope you guys, especially stay safe and take care of yourselves. If anybody watching this right now wants to, follow along with your journey this year, where's the best place to find you guys?
They can follow the UTRGV baseball page, or they can follow me on my Instagram at king_Fred23.
Yeah, same for me. You could follow the UTRGB baseball account, or you could also follow me at Rodriguez_AntG.
Awesome, guys. Well, for those of you watching and listening at home, make sure you're subscribing to us on YouTube, youtube.com/Monroe Mustangs. You'll find this also on our Instagram page at Monroe Mustangs. Listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you find podcasts. Guys, I want to thank you again so much for taking time out of your day. I really appreciate it. It's great to see you guys and talk to you guys. Everyone else, thanks for hanging with us today. We'll see you next time. Stay safe.
All right. Thank you.